Thanks everybody for joining us for our webinar today, Scale Your ABM with AI-Driven Digital Marketing. My name's Colin White and I'll be your host today. I'm pleased to be joined by Nida Chughtai. She's the VP of Marketing at Mintigo. Thanks for joining us, Nida.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I'm also joined by Gil Allouche. She's the co-founder and CEO of Metadata.io. How are you doing today, Gil?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. So just a quick tee up before we get going, a couple of housekeeping items. We are recording today's presentation and we will be sending a link to the recording to all who've attended within a day or so after the presentation. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to use the GoToWebinar Q&A box at any time and enter your questions. We'll answer as many as we can at the end of the presentation. So just quickly to kick it off here before I hand it over, the topic of today's presentation is really about, at the end of the day, about digital advertising. And if you're a B2B marketer, you know that digital advertising is necessary as part of your marketing mix. But if you've done any digital advertising at all, you know that doing it well is really difficult. It needs constant optimization. It requires a lot of manual effort. And it's very difficult to track ROI unless you've got some pretty sophisticated attribution capabilities. And if you don't have those attribution capabilities, it's hard to prove to management that ads can be a really effective primary channel for as part of your B2B marketing mix. So here we're going to talk about how artificial intelligence can be used to really drive your digital marketing and your digital advertising, and really that starts off with the data. And so with that in mind, I'm going to hand it over to Nida.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. So, I have become AI obsessed, I think, over the last couple of years. I know it's not just me. It's all of us. So whether you realize it or not, we as consumers are relying on AI every day to provide us with recommendations to help us make smarter decisions faster, like what to watch on TV and what to buy online, and even how to find alternative paths to get to our destination faster. And we're also using AI to monitor patterns in our inboxes and bank accounts to notify us of odd behaviors. And these brands that leverage AI, along with many other out there these days, are engaging and connecting with their customers. That is really allowing their organizations to accelerate growth. And what they're doing is actually creating customers for life, because it's their technologies that we just can't live without, because being presented with options and recommendations based on data has made the entire decision-making process so simple and efficient for all of us. And as B2B marketers, incorporating AI in our tech stack is a complete game changer. So similar to Netflix and Amazon, we can use AI to recommend and identify accounts we should target for ABM based on their ideal customer profile and businesses and people who have purchased from us in the past. We can also use AI to help find new areas for revenue and market expansion to help accelerate our business growth. And just like spam and fraud detection, B2Bs can use AI to help flag junk records in our database and really prioritize the real buyers that actually have a need and are in market to buy, and maybe nurture those that might not be ready yet. And the reason why so many businesses out there are using AI to help guide their decision is because they simply just don't have enough data or don't have enough time and resources to do this in-house and get this insight on the fly in real time when they need it the most. And just like the B2C world, B2B marketers and sellers really need the ability to make smarter business decisions faster with data-driven insights. And this is why Mintigo is so excited to partner with Metadata, because together with our technologies, we're enabling B2B marketers to use AI and data-driven techniques to select, target, and engage with the right accounts and the right people for any of your business objectives and use cases. And using data-driven insights and buying signals can really help you understand your customers so you can create hyper-targeted segments, and craft messages that are personalized and will resonate with your buyers. And now with the metadata technology on top of that, you can actually activate digital campaigns and target those really good in-market accounts while automatically testing your various offers and creatives while saving time and a lot of energy and spend as well. Plus, you'll have AI to optimize your program so you're driving better results from the right prospects. So I'm going to discuss how Mintigo can help you with these first 2 points around account selection and personalizing messages, and then hand it over to Gil to dig a little bit more into the digital marketing and optimization side. Now, when it comes to account selection, I've seen it done 2 different ways. The first is where you leverage your own first-party data and the records that exist in your database and try to select the right accounts you want to target, or maybe your sales team is saying, hey, I really want to target these types of accounts. And here you're mostly relying on a lot of firmographic data, some demographic data like your industry information, revenue size, number of employees, and whatnot. And you're trying to come up with your ideal customer just based on that alone. But the challenge with this is that you end up casting a very wide net of accounts to target. And although they all look very similar on the outside, these businesses can be very different on the inside when it comes to things like their quarterly growth and the types of employees and positions that exist within the company and the maturity of their tech stack, which is really going to make a difference on who you actually target and who's more likely to buy from you. And with AI that's powered by Mintigo, you can actually leverage thousands of third-party data points to better understand your customers and which ones actually have a business need for your solutions. So by using insights on growth and hiring trends, technologies, as well as third-party and first-party intent data, you can focus on higher quality accounts and prioritize who your marketing and sales team should engage with right now based on whether or not they're a good fit for your organization and exactly where they are in the buyer's journey. Now, understanding your ICP and identifying those target accounts is a very important and very critical piece to your ABM success. But in order to actually make it work and see those results, you need to be able to connect and engage with the right people within those accounts. And to get their attention through digital, you need to have the right messages that are going to resonate with them and engage with them at the right time. And AI can help with that as well. With visibility into AI-driven insights on your target accounts, your marketing teams can create very hyper-personalized messages that are going to connect with your customers and resonate with their buying needs and business needs, as well as the challenges their organization may face. So for example, if you knew that companies were using complementary tools and technologies, or maybe they're using one of your competitors, you can send a message on how your tools work really well with their existing tech stack, or maybe even offer a couple of battle cards and case studies about why customers choose you versus the competition. And if you knew that accounts had certain jobs and positions that exist within the organization, or they're hiring in areas where your business can provide a solution, you can send them messages about the benefits to those end users. And in today's digital world, tracking and monitoring intent is huge. So being able to see what topics and solutions accounts are consuming online is really going to help you understand the problems and challenges that they're facing, and you could actually select the right types of offers you want to surface up to them. So for example, if an account is a good fit for your organization and they're in market, so they're showing third-party intent and now they're exploring your website, you may want to serve up some bottom-of-funnel assets and offers to help accelerate those deals further down the pipeline. So these are just a few high-level examples of ways you can leverage AI-driven insights to understand your customers and craft those relevant messages. But a lot of folks always ask us, well, how can I actually get these insights? And that's the big question we hear time and time again. So I want to show you quickly how Mintigo helps customers actually get these insights so they could be smarter with their ABM. So here's how Mintigo puts AI in the hands of customers, which is really allowing our customers to scale with ABM and be able to see greater impact on pipeline and revenue. So we have a fully automated self-serve platform that allows you to quickly identify your ideal targets. And the way it works is you simply tell Mintigo who are the types of customers that you want to find more of and who are your prospects. And all we really need here is a company name and a website. So then Mintigo's platform will automatically enrich and enhance those records with millions of data points that we collect on profile fit and intent. And within half an hour or so, you'll be able to get a very robust ideal customer profile and details about the accounts you should be targeting. So you can see what are the actual attributes that make up your ideal customer. What is their likelihood to convert? You could put a simple tracking code on your website and start measuring where accounts are in the buyer's journey. So what is their actual buying stage and who's in market for solutions you offer? And you can actually discover the total available out there market out there of both known and net new accounts globally. And all of this information can be passed to your marketing automation platforms, your CRM systems, data warehouses, CSV files if you wish. And you can also pass these target accounts and audiences to ABM technologies like metadata. And so what metadata is allowing customers to do is actually take all these various creatives and messages and offers you've developed using the AI-driven insights that Mintigo can provide, and will automatically optimize digital campaigns and run multivariate testing to see what's working best for you. And so as a marketer, you know, you're able to save a lot of time, a lot of energy while optimizing your spend in the best way possible. And that's what's really going to help you drive better results. So tons of stuff here I covered. Would love to chat with you more if you want to know more about Mintigo, but I'll hand it over to Gil now to take you through the ins and outs a little bit more of how metadata actually works.
Thank you very much, Nida. Wonderful presentation, and Metadata is also super excited to partner with Mintigo. It really is a 100% complementary solution, and together we have the ability to both figure out who to go after and the ability to go after them. So I'm excited to present to you a little bit about the innovation around AI used not only for predictive analysis, but also for execution. And that's where our core competency comes into place. And so let's start with the problem. How is account-based marketing work today? Really, you have a bunch of people working in your marketing organization, internal employees, or maybe you're hiring an agency to operate your stack. You have a bunch of tools you have to operate. You have your Google Tag Manager for all of your UTMs. You have your Salesforce, your Marketo for your email and your landing page. You have your Facebook and LinkedIn to upload audiences and start running ads on. You have the data sources that you work with. And so you end up with a lot of different solutions that you have to manage. And not all of them are kind of automatic like Mintigo. Many of them will require you to run day-to-day operations to make them successful. And so how do you end up with kind of a streamlined operation while you have all these mundane, repetitive technical tasks that you have to do day in, day out? And the answer is you don't. You end up with many different tools. You don't necessarily know exactly which one of them is doing what. The data is locked within those tools, and you have to keep hiring more people to operate that technology stack that you've purchased in order to run campaigns at scale, against the companies and the people that you're trying to go after to begin with. The result is that you only, because you're so kind of buried with those technical repetitive operational tasks, you don't end up taking a step back and understanding what is working and what's not. And two, you only end up running 4 or 5% of the total experiments or campaigns you could have run if you had the time to do so. And so the result is an unpredictable pipeline result. You can't go back quarter after quarter to your CMO or to your CEO and say, I know exactly how our ABM programs work. I know exactly how our digital market mix is performing, and I can guarantee those results in a quarter. Vast majority of marketers can't prove that level of predictability, but that's exactly what you would get if you were to use AI to operate your account-based marketing operation. And that's what we propose here at Metadata. There is a whole new paradigm that is possible to execute today, and that is the use of AI not only for insights, but also for execution. You know, vast majority of the solutions out there, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, like retargeting, programmatic, many of the solutions out there are fully available via an API. That means that a person doesn't have to log in, day out, and manually run those tools. You can automatically run them using a software. And what better is a software that is driven by artificial intelligence that's constantly looking into what's working, what's not, and optimizing towards what's working. And so in the proposal that we have in front of you, Metadata connects to your marketing technology stack. It connects automatically to Facebook and Google and LinkedIn and data sources that you have. And most importantly, it connects with your Mintigo stack, which means all the insight that Mintigo's artificial intelligence models are generating for you, all those insights, all of those models, the list of companies to go after, the prioritization, the lead scoring, all of that goodness will automatically flow into a solution like Metadata, and essentially infusing it with the intelligence of who to go after and who to go after first, and then handing over that operation to AI. This time, the AI will actually take those recommendations, that data, those models, and will use it for execution. And so with Metadata, you don't have to run the day-to-day operations of your ABM. You don't have to buy data sets of audiences. You don't have to combine them then with the data sets of contacts and then figure out the PII and upload them to Facebook and to LinkedIn, constantly refresh those. You don't have to enrich every lead after it gets converted. You don't have to manually set up campaigns, and you don't have to set up any A/B testing. All of your raw digital marketing mix will automatically go through a multivariate experimentation. You will not have to set up your own UTM tags. You will not have to set up the matching and the sync between Facebook lead gen and your Marketo or HubSpot or Eloqua or Pardot instance. You will not have to set up all those technical tasks that otherwise you're buried in. All of those are taken over by the Metadata solution. And the end result of having an operation that is, one, fully automated, and two, is optimized and operated by AI, allows you to run so many more experiments. Instead of running the 5% of total experiments you could have run by trying out all of your collateral with combination of all of your creative and copy and channels and campaign types and audiences, instead of manually doing those operations and then reaching only 5%, with Metadata, you can really go all the way and achieve your 100% possible campaigns. For some of our customers, the system is running tens of thousands of campaigns. If the budget is there, you really have the ability to, instead of hope for an amazing campaign, guarantee an amazing campaign because you tried all kinds of variations. And so this is a quick example that shows how quickly do you get to a few hundred campaigns. Imagine if all you had are 4 audiences. Let's say that you have a list of 10,000 companies to go after, and you just broke them down by industry, by job seniority, by company size, and by location. You already end up, it's just one list, you end up with 4 audiences. And then let's say you have a few different creatives. You have a picture of a woman, picture of a man, and maybe some other clip arts that you want to try. You have multiple copies. You may want to go after those audiences using different channels. So you have Facebook on one end, you may have LinkedIn on the other, and you want to experiment with both to see which one you're going to get better cost per lead, cost per MQL, better opportunities, so on and so forth. And then, of course, you have different contents and offers. You have a white paper, a cool vendor report. Maybe you want to offer it one time on the landing page, right on your website, and one time you want to offer it right on the spot on Facebook or LinkedIn. And so even if you had such a small operation, what I'm proposing in front of you this is not a mid-market company marketing operation. This is a super small, maybe a seed stage startup kind of operation. Those, having two assets is not something that is very hard to do. And so you already have much more wealthy marketing mix in your company. And so your total possible experiments, if you were to really go through all of them and then optimize quickly, will probably be in the hundreds of thousands or the tens of thousands. And it's impossible, it's humanly impossible to go through so many experiments in an effective manner. And of course, make sure that you attribute for each and every one of those experiments, because it's not just optimizing towards impressions or clicks or not even leads. It's optimizing towards which one of those campaigns have generated pipeline, has influenced pipeline or triggered net new pipeline that wouldn't otherwise be there. And keeping an audit on all of those campaigns and pulling data from all these different systems, that's hard for attribution, like Colin mentioned in the first minute of this webinar, but it's also hard for execution to constantly figure out which campaigns are performing, which ones are not. And if something happens that is new, like an opportunity is closed won from a campaign that is 2 months ago, you need to be able to have the capability to go back to that campaign and then up its budget and maybe optimize it further. And so that's the challenge that we have in front of us. And so at the end of the day, what we're here to do is unchain you from all that repetitive work. You don't have to spend a minute more doing those technical, repetitive, mundane tasks that the software can do better for you, more accurately, in a more predictable format, and then of course using AI to optimize those operations in an ongoing basis. So let's take a quick look. These are the types of tasks that you will never have to do again if you were to use Mintigo and metadata together in Unition. First one is you will not have to buy data anymore. We have it. Secondly, you won't have to join it because we already joined and normalized those data sets. Finally, you will not have to figure out how to upload those audiences constantly and what ways will get you a higher match rate, and if the audience is accurate and are you hitting that person in all of the possible points. Metadata has done that work for you. And so most of those tasks are really not tasks you're super excited about when you wake up in the morning. No one wakes up and says, I really want to set up my next 3,000 UTN tags for my next 3,000 experiments. It's not something people like to do because it's repetitive, it's prone to errors, and it gets very boring, honestly. And so if you take away those tasks and you can focus on strategy, what kind of campaigns do I even want to run? Maybe there's net new market I can go after. Maybe there's some upsell opportunity. You go and figure out those strategic initiatives and let the technical tasks operate on their own. In addition, you can spend more time coming up with better creative and content. A computer today, especially in the B2B world, does not know how to make very creative, very effective content better than a human today. And so you can focus on those tasks that are more fun, much more strategic, and then instead of operating those tasks yourself to actually execute those campaigns, you can just sit back and make sure that the computer is executing them effectively. And so this is the main screen in our joint solution, and it looks like that. First in mind is on the left-hand side, you can see how much money you've invested so far. Because at the end of the day, when you go and ask for more money from the CRO, they're gonna say, we put X amount of dollars this quarter. How much Y dollars did you bring back? And so you have those two numbers in front of you right away. It shows you the ratios of your investment, your ROI essentially. And the second thing that is interesting on the lower hand side of the screen are the experiments themselves. We like to show you what's working, what's not. Because one of the most important tasks for a CMO, other from, of course, generating pipeline for sales, which is the live or die by, the second most important thing for a CMO to know is which components, aspects of their digital marketing mix is working and which ones are not. And then how to use more of those combinations that work. And so you take into consideration the creative that work for you. And you may say, oh, metadata just showed me that this particular creative works much better with this persona than another. Or I can see that from Facebook, I've invested 20 grand, in LinkedIn I invested 20 grand. I got more leads from Facebook, but I got way more MQLs and opportunities from LinkedIn. And so maybe you want to start trying out more campaigns on that channel. There are all kinds of interesting insights that you learn from executing at scale. And you can apply those insights not only for your ABM campaigns. And that's a big deal. And we're trying to show you that in your dashboard. And of course, the types of campaigns you can run. It's not just top of the funnel leads. You can accelerate existing deals. You can do competitive targeting against your competitor, or maybe work together with your partners. So there are all types of campaigns that you can start automating with a technology like Metadata and Mintigo. And so at the end of the day, what Metadata and Mintigo provide you is a fully managed demand generation engine that will automatically take care of your ideal customer profile, the buyer intent. Mintigo will provide you with all sorts of models that you can use both for sales and marketing. When you go to an event, you'll be able to use all those models to be super effective in those trade shows. That's one piece of the puzzle. The second piece you get from the puzzle is the execution piece, where you don't have to worry about all those repetitive, technical, mundane tasks that you have to do today in order to just set up a campaign and execute them. And now you have the ability to, instead of running 10, 20, 50 campaigns a month, even if you have an agency, to running 1,000 campaigns per month. That's something that is humanly impossible today and will become possible if we start leveraging solutions like Metadata and Mintigo. And so just a few examples that show you what is the kind of ROI you should be expecting. So two very recent case studies that we had just for the past quarter or so. The first one is GitPrime. It's a company that really saw time to value very, very fast. Within the first month, they generated a few hundred leads, about 40 opportunities. They already achieved 5% engagement with their target account. So imagine you have 1,000 accounts, you're going after 50 of them already generated. You generated opt-in leads from them. They came to your website, so on and so forth. And then finally, they got the ROI in place. They invested a very small amount in terms of their media spend and got back more than $2 million in new and influence pipeline. So that's just one example. Now, we can't promise that within a month, every customer is going to get their time to value, but we can promise that it's going to be significantly better than the baseline, because there's no rocket science here. It's just the use of experimentation as a means to an end to achieve optimization is proven. And the second company is Tipalti. That's a fintech company. They were able, within a few months, running a few hundred of experiments. So again, the capability that they did not have before, combining all kinds of collateral, creative, and copy, and different channels, the campaign types and audiences, and running a few of those experiments. They were able to generate 500 net new leads and generate about 1.6 in new and influence pipeline. 22 of those opportunities were attributed back to Metadata. And of course, we help you with the attribution, but those attribution metrics that you get here were vetted by the CRO of that company. And so these are just ideas of kind of ROI you should expect when you run experimentation in scale, and when you let AI and data make some decisions for you and influence some of the decision making in your marketing department. And then finally, before we hand it over for Q&A, I wanted to show you a little bit of an idea of what does the curve look like when you start running optimization. This is what we see on average. So some customers see time to value on month 1, some see it on month 9. But the nature of experimentation, you can see here, will show you that overall, if you start using solutions like Mintigo and Metadata together, you will start seeing a lift in your overall KPIs, not in your vanity metrics. But at the end of the day, when you look at how many opportunities that they generate for $1, or how much dollar opportunity they generate for $1 in marketing, you'll start seeing that number on average go up on month 5 or so. And so you'll start doubling, tripling, and much more than exponentially invest in your marketing, because it will become a very profitable machine for you. And so that's the kind of how we see the company investing more in what works. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Colin, who can begin our Q&A session.
Okay, thanks very much, Gil. So yeah, we've had a few questions come in, and feel free to enter more if you have any questions to ask our presenters here. First one I think is for Nida, and I think it's around the ideal customer profile. The question is, how many records, and I'm assuming this is like CRM or opportunity records in your CRM, do you need to build an ICP?
Cool. So that's a really good question, because a lot of people ask that. So technically, in the Mintigo platform, you need at least 50 customers or like positive records to run and build a model, but we recommend having anywhere between 200 to 400 records as your customer file, because the more records you have, the more data we're using, and then it's going to be more statistically significant. And if you don't have that many customers, you can always pull in like late stage opportunities or opportunities in general. So, we have customers, for example, who are looking to promote new products. And obviously, new products don't have any customers yet. So one thing they even did was they actually pulled in customers they would like to sell a solution and use that as a positive, and then just like reiterate the model as they got more and more customers. So it really depends on, your goals, but 50 to technically run it, but we recommend up to 200 to 400.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nida. Another question that just came in is asking about the resources required to run these platforms. So I guess I'd ask both of you, what size marketing team, or do you have to dedicate marketing team members to run these platforms? Gil, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So with Metadata, you have a few options. Depending on the size of the company, we have different subscriptions and different tiers that fit your size. It starts with a self-service basic subscription that only generates leads for you and kind of replaces what you otherwise would be a small, advertising professional or an agency. That really doesn't require much. It's one person that has probably the same person running your marketing automation. Whoever is doing that kind of work for you today, that will be the operator for that software. And it goes all the way to a managed service. And so some of our customers, mostly the enterprise, the larger customers, they use our managed service, which means our customer success managers and our team helps. They're kind of like an extension of their team, and they help them use the software effectively. The idea for Metadata is to run on autopilot, where you don't have to log in, day out, and operate and optimize and make decisions and change things. And so the operation is really not too cumbersome on the customer's point of view. The only time in which is needed to put some effort is just in the beginning, when you start putting together the models, when you start creating some of those audiences and making some of those decisions. And then once those experiments are up and running, it's kind of running on autopilot.
So same question for you, Nida.
Yeah, so it really depends on the customer size or company size. We have customers who are, have very small marketing teams, and it's one person who does it all. One person who pulls the data to build the model, one person who integrates. Obviously there needs to be somebody operating the system. And for some of our enterprise companies or customers who are doing like building out data lakes, they might have like a couple of folks involved, one person to actually own the Mintigo piece and make sure that, models are created, and then somebody else kind of helps with any type of real-time integration. So it really depends on how much you're looking to do with Mintigo. It is like a self-serve platform and completely automated, so you don't need a huge, robust team. We have customers who have simple use cases, only use the platform, no integrations. And then we also have like very, very sophisticated customers, like I said, who are, building out data lakes and scaling globally with Mintigo, where they have, 50 different marketers using our platform. So it really depends on the customer and how much they're actually looking to do. But we always recommend like a crawl, walk, run approach when it comes to using Mintigo. Start with something small, prove the value, and then start introducing more and more use cases.
Okay, great. And another question I think here for Gil. What level of monthly ad budget do you need for the metadata platform to optimize campaigns effectively?
That's a good question. So just like with how much effort you have to put it, how many personnel, what type of team to operate those software, it comes down to the size of company. If you're a small company and you're just trying to generate MQLs for your company and you don't have any effective way of doing it so today, you'll use Metadata with one person, and a budget of $2,500, $3,000 per month will be enough for you to generate a velocity of leads that is interesting. 30 leads, 40 leads, if a cost per lead is around $100. Now, if you're a large company, like some of the enterprises that we work with, and we have multiple enterprises using us, like Hitachi and Nutanix and SAP and Splunk, etc. those types of companies, their budget can go all the way into the millions, because it's a profitable demand generation engine. I mean, imagine if you put 2 million in and you get, $1 million, 100 million back in pipeline, you're gonna put more investment in it. And so that's kind of the two sides of the spectrum. I will say, at the end of the day, many of our customers have very particular goals. They have, especially those larger customers, they have particular goals in terms of their quarterly revenue, KPIs, etc. And after a few months of running metadata, one of the major things that you get is a very clear understanding of your ratios. For any dollar spent, I get this many impressions, clicks, leads, MQLs, SQLs, opportunity, and then closed bookings. And so once you understand those ratios, granted there is some standard deviation, but once you understand those ratios and you can rely on them, then you can decide on the budget based on your goals. And that's exactly the kind of insights that some of the customers who've been working with us for a year or so are getting.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gil. So I think that's about all the time we have today for questions. I just wanted to remind the audience that we did record today's presentation. We'll be sending you a link to the recording within the next 24 hours or so, so feel free to take a look. And also the presenters, Nida and Gil, their contact information is on the screen here. So I'm assuming, guys, it's okay for the folks in the audience to contact you if they have any questions, and I'm sure you'll each be reaching out as well. So thanks very much for joining us for our webinar today, Scale Your ABM with AI-Driven Digital Marketing, and we look forward to seeing you at a future event.